guys, we just wrapped up the show and I actually checked my email and I didn't realize that a few people said that they wanted to go through the vape shop interview again. And I don't know when I'm going to get to that, so I'm doing a separate video that you can peruse yourself and study yourself. This is the vape shop. I don't know if he owns the vape shop or if he just works there, but he's the one that spoke about Kaylee possibly being stalked. Okay, we went through it in the show. I think you know my thoughts on it. And I had a lot of thoughts on it. If you missed it, catch the last show. But before I go into what he says about Kaylee being stalked, I want to play what the officials say about Kaylee being stalked. Then we'll get to it.
We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report.
Kaylee and Maddie would both come in very happy, very friendly. You know, they always were just such a smile on their face. Just like pretty much you would say they're the light of the world, pretty much. You know, always happy, go lucky. They always came in just chatting. They always came with a group. Like I said, they probably I'd say 4 or 5 girls at most all the time. They come in together. And I made a joke about it earlier. It was like, you know, hey, you know, coming together and stuff like that. You know, just it's nice to see you girls trying to stay safe. One of them more or less openly says, oh, yeah, we've had a friend of ours be stalked before. So this is kind of why we all travel in a group like this. And just was
it Kaylee who said that? Do you remember?
No, it was Maddie who actually said that. So Maddie said it. And it was kind of like more mentioning, like motioning to Kaylee too, like who was right next to her. So you could tell that like they obviously all were trying to keep Kaylee safe, you know, and to be there for her as good friends. And then, yeah, to know that a few weeks later, now I won't see them, you know, anymore, anything like that. So it's crazy.
How long before the murder about was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks beforehand, because I was telling them I hope they had a good Thanksgiving break and everything like that too, because I didn't know if I'd see them again. So, because with a lot of the times with the kids, with the way after the pandemic, some of the kids leave in waves. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to see you this weekend or not. Hey, hope you have a great, you know, Thanksgiving with your family. And that was the last I saw them.
Did they elaborate any more on the stalker comment?
They more or less kept making the comment that it always seemed to happen either by the campus or down on Main Street. And the last time the Kaylee more or less made it sound like it seemed like it was down on Main Street and that the person was coming from like around the Corner Club area. And then like as far as I remember, it's the guy who ended up like trying to go and talk to her and then he gave up on it and he ended up walking away. So she thought she was being stalked up to a certain point, and then looked behind her and he was no longer behind her. So
I just want to make sure that I get it right. So
yeah.
Tell me again exactly what you remember.
Just more or less, I made a joke about them being in a group, and they just said, yeah, you know, one of our friends and motioning to Kaylee that she'd been stalked recently. And so that had people constantly following her around. And it's not just a one-off thing, that this is apparently something that Kaylee had tons of issues with. That apparently she always had somebody who's constantly walking behind her like that. So, and it was more so at nighttime when they were out there drinking and stuff like that. Because I asked them, like, is it at school? And she's like, no, when I'm at night, going out to the bars or coming back from the bars. And again, living down that way.
Did she specifically mention the Corner Club?
Not the Corner Club, but just in that general direction and stuff like that. So the only reason I would assume the Corner Club is because that's the only bar that's down in that area anymore now. So we used to have 2. One was CJ's and then the Corner Club. It's just Corner Club now, then a whole block before it mingles. So.
How many times did you see Kaylee and Maddie? How many times did they come in the store?
I'd say, now that I'm trying to think back in my head, I've only saw them maybe like 6-7 times total. So I'd say probably since the start of this beginning of this year.